Hi. So today I wanted to talk about some information that just came to me. Almost the same way, the same way as when you're thinking of somebody and that somebody just calls you out of nowhere and you haven't spoke to them in like a long time. Well, it's similar to that. I download messages from my higher self or from infinite intelligence and kind of just process it. But this download was just a little bit different than the usual, only because I had a sense that I had to just talk about it and I had to just share this information with you guys. It's actually a pretty cool story because it just shows how when you pay attention to little things, you realize how in tune you really are with your surroundings and how we tend to overlook these experiences because they are so small that we just are too busy caught up in the day-to-day life. So I kind of just woke up this morning and had like this crazy realization of basically it was like a life lesson that I didn't know how to process it at the time until I started writing it down. So I'm going to tell you a short little quick story that happened yesterday. So the kids, I had kids over at my house, my kids, and so the kids were running around and they were playing hide and seek. And so I'm just, doing my own thing. They're playing hide and seek and I'm just hanging out. My daughter chooses to hide in my room in my closet. And so upon doing so, the other kids were scrambling around the whole house looking for her. She finally yells out, "I'm in the kitchen," right? These kids were already in my room and they knew they heard her voice coming from the closet and running towards the kitchen, right? And I guess in that instance, I probably would have done the same thing, right? But so these kids run to the kitchen, they can't find her. She yells out again, "I'm over here." And the kids come running back because they know they hear the voice coming from this side of the house. Another instance that happened to me yesterday was the fact that I was outside and I was just laying in the grass, just, hanging out with my kids and enjoying the afternoon with Mother Nature. And so when I was I was done, picking little mushrooms for my lawn because I'm so grateful for the little gifts of Mother Earth. When I was done, I was walking back in my house and I noticed just some little pink flower on the grass, and it was just weird because I'd never seen anything like that. So I just kind of got closer and then I was like in shock, almost like amazed by the fact that it was not a flower. It was some weird type of mushroom growing from my lawn. So I just was like, I was in shock. I was just like amazed, surprised. I thought it was beautiful. I was so grateful. At the moment, I was like, I was already picking mushrooms, but I was just so grateful that I had found something so rare and so weird. I had never seen anything like it in my life. So I just immediately picked it, and my first instinct was to research what it could be and what it was. And I was so interested in learning about that little plant, in that moment. Well, the afternoon went by, and it was really hard for me to find a lot of information on it, not knowing what it was to begin with. All I knew is that it was some type of mushroom plant thing. So what I did was I kept researching and researching. I found something by the name of devil's fingers, which, if you look it up, it looks pretty creepy. The mushroom devil's fingers is like super creepy, and there's hardly any information on it because I tried to do a lot of searching for it and there was just not much about it. So what I did was I gave up. I went to bed almost really scared because I was like, wait a minute, like had read some things that, it attracts bad stuff, or, that it's not good. And not only that, but this thing, you guys, it smelled so horrible, so disgusting. I mean, this thing just smelled so disgusting. I was just like, what the fuck is this? So it was really gross, but it was also amazing at the same time. So I still got it and I picked it and I put it in my windowsill, and I was like, well, it's gonna dry, so whatever. So anyways, by the end of my research, I was really scared at the fact that I didn't know what it was. So I put it away, put it in my restroom, away from my bedroom, and I was like, oh my god, what if I get bad dreams? I started thinking, come on, devil's fingers. I, at the moment, thought it was devil's fingers, mushrooms, fungi, whatever the fuck it's called. But I honestly didn't know what it was, but I thought it was that. So I went to bed a little scared, thinking I was going to have nightmares. Well, just the most amazing thing happened, because in the morning, I woke up so peaceful. I slept so good. Not only that, but I had the most beautiful dream, which was really weird because, well, it's not weird because I always dream things, but it was a beautiful dream. And I woke up really peaceful, really content. And then in an instant, I get like a tuning on this hemisphere of my brain. It was like almost like clairvoyance, where I just instantly knew the answer to what I was searching for that whole afternoon after I had found that little mushroom. And it's almost like I had the answers inside me all along, and I knew. I just chose to, look for it here, look for it there, and I'm reaching out for answers when in reality I had it all along. So I start journaling, and I start writing in my journal, writing my dream, what I dream, and I just start drawing the little picture of my little mushroom, and I named it a starfish mushroom because it looked like a starfish, right? And in that second, I was like, starfish mushroom. I was like, okay, so then I Googled it, not knowing, and sure enough, it's called starfish mushroom. If you look it up, it looks like a little flower. It's red, stinks. But anyways, so I knew the name to that without even researching it. So now going back to my little story about my kids running around, and reflecting it. I did that reflection, which I always try to do with different instances, but yesterday was just so different the way the reflection came to me, because there was a couple that happened. Well, I sat and thought about it, and I realized, wow, I was laughing at my kids not using their ears to listen and actually listen to where my daughter's voice was coming from. They were playing, and since she said from her mouth, she said, I'm in the kitchen, they ran to the kitchen, even though they knew, because these kids stopped and they listened to where the voice was coming from, and they knew it came from the room. But since the voice told them it came from the kitchen, they ran to the kitchen. So in that instance too, I reflected upon myself that I knew the answer before I researched it, because I knew, one, it was a beautiful flower looking type of thing, right? And I knew that researching it, external findings weren't giving me the answer, but yet in my mind, I found the answer, right? I thought I found the answer. I thought it was devil's fingers, and I was so worried. And I wasn't worried. I'm sorry. I was just kind of creeped out by why that thing was growing in my grass, which I know it seems so small and so little, but I just always feel like there's no such thing as coincidences, and things happen for a reason. So, anyways, so as I was realizing, like, these kids were so preoccupied with following the voice to the kitchen, right? That they didn't stop to think and listen to their intuition and actually listen to where that voice is coming from, which the same thing happens to us. We tend to always find or search for answers outside of ourselves, and we tend to, like, look up on the internet or look for answers in books, look for answers from other people, when in reality we hold all that within us, and we deep down inside have that ability to find out answers about everything. I mean, sure, you can look things up, but there's instances where you can just stop and listen, and the answers are there. They're given to you, just like they were given to me. Like, I did so much research on trying to find this name for this plant, and I couldn't find anything. And then when I woke up, I had the answer. So how is that possible that, we go on about our day-to-day life and we don't listen to our little voice or our little signs that are given to us? It's always important to always reflect on things, especially with children, since children always teach us so much about life. It's just amazing. I think it's amazing just how everything played out, and how it just happened that way, But that's just a little reflection that happened to me, a little life lesson that taught me that I have the answers, and so do you. Everybody has access to infinite knowledge. You just have to learn to listen to your surroundings and slow down and actually really appreciate what's in front of you. You have to go out in nature every day and just appreciate the little things that are put in front of you day after day. So that was my message that I wanted to share with you guys. Thank you so much for listening. I plan on making more videos, hopefully soon, maybe. But always remember that we all have access to infinite knowledge. You just have to be connected with the one true creator and truly love and feel love and be love and be one with that. Thank you. Bye.